A very good evening to all. This is Owais Ismaeil. I'm honored to be the part of this 10-day online workshop. I'm highly thankful to Dr. Malik and Dr. Baria particularly, who gave me the opportunity to moderate our inaugural session this evening. To begin, I would like to introduce today's first keynote speaker. We are truly honored that we have with us today Dr. Nandini Kannan. Dr. Nandini Kannan is distinguished academician with over 30 years of experience in higher education and skill development. She holds masters in economics and PhD in business economics from the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, where she has served as an associate professor in Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Commerce. Dr. Kannan has also made a significant contribution to the education through her deputation with the Education Department, Government of Gujarat across the multiple tenures as Joint CEO and Director Training and Capacity Building at the Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat. She led the initiatives impacting over 1,000 colleges. Her work spanned academic and administrative audits, ICT-based education, active learning methodologies, and CBCS frameworks. Dr. Kannan also serves as an honorary trustee secretary of Mok Davni Trust, a school for speech and hearing challenged children in the Baroda. Furthermore, she is a member of Board of Management at GSFC University, Baroda, Gujarat. Dr. Kannan are a regular speaker at national and international conferences, which reflects her unwavering commitment to the education, skill development, and inclusive growth. Today, Madam will enlighten us with a prominent topic like the essential soft skills in a data-driven world. Before Madam will start their presentation, I request all the participants to please switch off your microphones as already suggested by Dr. Malik and Dr. Baria. If you have any questions or the queries, please reserve them for at the end of the session. We will do our best to address all your questions. Meanwhile, if you can write your questions in the chat book, we will try to address them all. Thank you for all your joining. I now request Dr. Kannan to please take your.
A very warm evening. Good evening to everybody. And thank you, Dr. Ismaeil. I, at the outset, would like to compliment AIU, Vivekananda Global University, Jaipur, research analytics for social science especially. It is a great matter of pride to be part of this association and this part of this workshop. I wish to pay my compliments to the patrons, the directors, Dr. Firdaus Malik, Dr. Bhagirat Baria, who is also a colleague with me in the Department of Banking and Insurance, Dr. Bula Chaudhary, all the other organizing members, and the participants of this workshop. So I'd like to also extend my sincere thanks to all of you for inviting me. And more importantly, importantly, I'd like to say one thing, that it is very rare that I come across a theme like this in a workshop on research analytics. So on that note, I'd like to send my very sincere contribution to the whole set of organizers for being very visionary in understanding in a world which is completely taken over by technology, I should say. At point we are constantly looking at the laptop. At the drop of a pin, we are checking our phones. We wake up, we go to sleep with the phones in our hands. We are looking for food on somebody, we are checking with AI, what are the right words. We want to write a paragraph on something, we are instantly taking the help of Meta, isn't it? The voice is breaking in between. Somebody is mentioning the voice is breaking.
Sorry
Yeah,
to disturb you,
Nan-
ma'am. Actually, your
yeah.
voice is, ma'am, breaking. I think you don't have stable internet connection.
Is that
If
so? I
you
was asking
try
Dr.
to
Bhatia.
relocate.
Can I will just try and check. Just give me a moment, please.
Yes, 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 please, ma'am.
Yeah, Nandini ma'am called me to confirm about it. So she will just shift it. And maybe in 5 minutes we can reconnect.
Sure, sir, sure,
Okay.
sir, sure. We are here.
Is the connection?
My voice is still breaking. Your voice is still breaking.
No.
Everyone, Nandini ma'am will join very shortly. Please bear with us for 5 to 7 minutes more.
Okay, sir.
Uh, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah,
you're
we can hear.
audible.
That's right. I'm so sorry about this.
Yeah, you are clearly audible, madam.
Right. I wish to thank the organizers for having a very good background right from the beginning. It makes life a lot easier. So starting the session, I'd like to once again reiterate that I'm really thankful to the organizers for inviting me, because this is not just a theme where I've been working, or the area that I've been specializing in for more than 25 years now. And it is very close to my heart. It's an area of my passion. I never realized that a point will come when the country will start realizing that skilling should become a national mission. But I did have a hunch that soft skills in particular was something that we needed to teach students, or something that we needed to include in education in a very big way. And today, being part of this conference or this workshop, and having the honor of making a keynote address to all of you, helps me perspectivize the whole discussion or the whole narrative. And I hope that at the end of the session, you will be able to integrate what we are discussing with the really hard skills that you're going to be learning throughout the session of 10 days. So to that extent, I think this is going to be a really useful beginning for all of you. And I sincerely hope that you practice most of the things that I talk about. In case there's anything that you will need later on, I'm always available to you for this. Off late, skill development, soft skills has been getting incorporated in a lot of ways. And I also feel that the way the National Education Policy 2020 has made special significant notice of the need to incorporate ability enhanced learning and skill enhanced learning, it not only talks about the need to get the students ready, but the participants of this workshop, who I think will be predominantly teachers and researchers. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Bhagirath. So I'd just like to have an idea of the profile of the participants, what percentage are teachers, and any rough information. I don't need the exact numbers. Is it 70, 30, 70% research academicians?
Yes, ma'am. More, they are the academicians more joined the conference. There are the
Okay.
research scholars, there are the teachers at different colleges and universities.
Okay.
So more or less, they all are related to the research. What I mean to say.
Manmeet Singh is a researcher, I can see. In fact, what I
बाबू
can
दे दो
Yeah.
जरा
Please put off your mics, please. It'll be easier for others.
Sorry for inconvenience. Now I am throwing people outside the meeting.
Not a problem. Not a problem. You let them in, and I'll start it as soon as you tell me I'm ready to start. Divya Bhatt, we can listen to the researchers till that time. Are there more people to come in? Dr. Ismail, are there more participants who are going to come in?
I think they all have joined. There might be some of the participants who will join now, but we can continue, ma'am.
Okay, right. So, with everybody's is everybody ready to start? There are many researchers. There is also a chartered accountant, Ayush Banka, who is a researcher. There is Girish, who's an assistant professor. Okay. Now, request sharing is not turned on. I request the organizers to give me permission to share.
Yes, ma'am, you can share now.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, clearly visible.
A very interesting theme, essential soft skills. Just a minute. Let's go. I suppose I'm sharing the screen, right? Yeah. So essential soft skills in a data-driven world. Now, I might ask you some questions. Just be a little quick in responding, please, because we need to use the time that I have, the limited time, fully, and the interaction will help us understand better. So, what really is a data-driven world? When we're talking about data-driven world, anyone? Quick answers?
Ma'am, where every concept is measured by data.
Wonderful. Every concept.
And
Which
all
is
the decisions
all the
totally
decisions.
based on the data.
Wonderful.
Data
So yes, go on, please. Go on, please. So when everything is validated by data, whatever we speak, whatever we do, and whatever we decide is validated by data, where every critical decision is taken based on data, where guesswork is completely eliminated, and we favor analytical insights. And you are all researchers, so you all understand the importance of using data effectively to be able to come to conclusions. So basically, which data are we talking about? What is the data that we talk about here?
Ma'am, all kinds, both quantitative and qualitative.
Quantitative, qualitative, anything else?
data generally in a raw manner, whatever data you have collected generally in a raw manner, and we have to convert in a meaningful information by proper analytics and using a statistical and mathematical tools. We have to convert them in a meaningful information, and that information is generally we can use for a decision making purpose. So data generally can be any raw fact number and figures we just collected from the
what does this data, what kind of data, what kind of domain does this encompass? We are talking about social sciences right now. I think all of you are from social sciences. So being social science members from social science, I'm also a person who's done my research in social science. I worked in the area of outsourcing and employability of the youth has been one of my studies, one of our major focuses, and why the international trade and business has been growing. I come from the business economics background, that's why. So, which is a domain that we're talking about. So just to take you, while all of this will look very simple to many of you, don't worry, the remaining sessions are going to be so technical that this simple session you will sail through it very easily. But this might be the only session of its kind. And that's why I wanted to give it full justice. So you can say data from everything, data from around the world, data from around economies in the world, various countries, from various industries. And when we say industries, we're not talking about just some particular industry. We're talking about agriculture, industry, services, every sphere, everything, whatever you're talking about, any industry, small, large, medium, just everything. Customer choices, FMCG, natural resources, about the sea, about the land, about air, about the world around everything, just everything. And not only that, animal kingdom, plant kingdom, and above everything, about the planets as well. About the planets, about space, everything. Everything contains data. That is the extent of the work that we are all going to be doing. So how important is this data? Who validates this data? Who makes sure? Basically, every set of data has some pattern. So who is the one who actually validates that this is how it is? These are usually... Sorry? So these are basically data miners, data analysts. These are data scientists, researchers. In fact, it's experts like you. Do you agree? It's experts like you and me. We are all experts in this area, or we are trying to be experts. There is nothing like an end to our knowledge. There's nothing like an end to learning. And so we are all in the same boat. Do you agree? So now, does this mean all decision making and directions that is happening in the world, whether it is we're talking about Amazon or we're talking about the decisions taken in the government in various sectors, is it all happening only through data? Is that how it works? The answer is yes. The answer is also no. Not always. It depends on what data you are studying. It depends on for what you are studying this data. The purpose of your data analysis, what you're trying to do. It can be a personal requirement. Let's say, I'm just limiting it for now. Let's say we think of the personal requirement of a certain bit of research that you're doing could be limited to a certain paper that you're writing. It may be just for academic enrichment. It can be for a requirement, not just academic enrichment, but it can even be for an academic requirement. हो सकता है कि आपको कोई promotion की ज़रूरत है. It can be a publication required. I hope I can use Hindi once in a while. How does it sound for the participants? Would you prefer it, or can I go on with
No problem, ma'am.
No, if you prefer me, I can continue with English only. I'm okay with both. Anyway.
I am bilingual to it.
So publications, if there are lots of people who have any difficulty with English, kindly put it on the group. It's absolutely fine. Or you can tell the organizers, I can use more of Hindi. I think that the end result is the session should be useful to you. That's why I'm here. In the given time limit, I should strike oil, as they say. So publication, PhD work, project, consultancy, anything, you just name it. It may be something small that you have taken up. Writing a paper for a conference. Okay, reading a paper, presenting some project report, and that is why you're working. You've got a UGC grant, or you have got some grant from some other source, or you're working as a professional researcher for somebody. Maybe some of you are taking up projects and doing some research for somebody else. Any of these things. These are all personal requirements. Or it can be something larger than that. What research you do, according to the requirement of your research, is how your mind will be working. I hope you can get my point. If you have a limited requirement, your work will be within that scope. But if you're working for a larger cause, for a societal cause, I'm coming to the point of soft skills very soon. So, just a moment. What can be the larger cause? It can be when you're working for, let's say you've got a project from WHO, you're working on a UNESCO project, or you're working on something else which is very, very significant for the globe. Can be something related to environment. It can be something related to the climate change, or it can be something about human resource or migration, transition in the demographic profile of a country. These are all very large macro level issues. And you may easily be working on this for a government project. You may be an employee of a government, you may be doing some part-time project with the government, or you may be working with some industry association like a CII or FGI or some ASSOCHAM or some such NASSCOM, all these industrial bodies, where everything goes with a slightly higher requirement. Their requirement is of a large scale. Their vision is very high. The scope is very big. Or you can simply be working for an NGO, where again, the purpose of your work is something to make a very big change in society. The work that you are going to be doing may be impacting a whole village. It can be something happening across India. It can be happening for the youth of India. It can be happening for the poor people. It can be happening for the health sector. Depends on what you're doing. But whatever you do, the main thing is the purpose for which you're doing your research. Why are you doing this? That's a very significant part of your research. Very often we don't spend too much time on it, and we get into the nitty-gritties of understanding the problem and getting into how I should deal with the data, how I should get the source of the data, what should be the source of the data, how do I differentiate it, all of this. But before you embark on a journey, let's say you go to the railway station or you go to the airport, I mean, I'm sure all of you will think 10 times about which platform it is in, or which gate you have to take your flight from. And you have to be clear in your mind what you want to do. So the larger understanding of your research problem is extremely important before you get into the technical aspects of your research. That is what I wanted to convey to you. So now, here's something that you need to consider. Data and numbers are one thing, but the influence you can make is something that requires a different set of skills. The larger influence that you can make. So for this, you really need to know what skills are you talking about? What different skills do you want me to have? There are hard skills and there are soft skills. Everybody talks about it these days. It's become a very common topic, but how well have you understood it and how much are you applying it in your day-to-day research? I'm very confident that in this 10 days, your own skills, your technical skills, through the various sessions that have been planned out, are going to get sharpened. 100%. There's no doubt about that. But while your technical skills are being sharpened, and before you embark on this 10 days journey, let's talk about soft skills. What's the difference between technical skills and non-technical skills? And why does a researcher need it? Maybe it may be required in the HR field. You may think it may be required if you deal with school children, or if you're dealing with a hospital where you're dealing with patients. But why do you need it as a researcher? Think about it. What is the reason? So let's go. Many of you might know this, but still let's go through the sessions. So the whole thing, the whole discussion is going to be around what is the difference between hard skills, soft skills? How do you use both these skills in our kind of work, like research work? And how do you communicate the results of your work effectively? How do you blend these two, hard and soft? So this session will be revolving around that. So let's come into what are hard skills. Everybody knows hard skills, but still, just to define it, a hard skill is something where you can specifically, your abilities that can be measured, your ability can be your specific examples, your marks, for example, is something that comes out of your knowledge of a subject. Somebody gets 100 on 100 in math, the parents are saying that he's very good at his subject. Does not mean he may be a very kind person. I'm just coming to the point. So what you really are doing, you have knowledge, you have expertise. All these things come through your regular exercise of doing your MPhil, your research, various programs and other things that you're doing. And you're prepared for this. You're coming to it. You're being taught all these things. But these skills can be easily quantified, but they can be taught and tested and all that, but soft skills may not be. So how do you develop these hard skills? In this case, if you see technical proficiencies, coding, data analysis, your modeling, all the studying of SPSS, how to use SPSS, what are the problems that require to be dealt with by certain types of software, which will see the qualitative aspects and so on. Maybe in commerce-related subjects, in arts-related subjects, in medical or engineering, all these are technical, legal and things like that. These can be acquired over a period of time. But what are soft skills? So these soft skills are non-technical skills. I don't know why they're called soft, but does anybody want to guess why they're called soft? Any guesses why it is called soft skills?
Because indirectly it is going to hone my skill sets, which is also going to affect my like holistic knowledge. That is why it is probably soft.
It's soft because it is experienced and experiential. That is how it's soft skills.
Experienced and experiential. Okay, anything else?
Ma'am, I believe that as you said that for hard skills we need an educational background and training and experience. Soft skills doesn't require any such training, and not training specifically, any educational qualification per se.
Mm-hmm.
Good
That is the
evening, ma'am.
reason we're doing it now. So basically, soft skills, they help you deliver better. The knowledge that you gain and the skills that you develop from the technical learning of things can be delivered better with the help of soft skills. For example, imagine that you have food cooked very well, very nicely done. For example, in our homes or in hotels and all other places when you go. Can you tell me one of the things that is very attractive when you go to a 5-star hotel or a very big restaurant what is the thing that you like so much about it when you go there? You might get the same food at home, but the way it is presented in a hotel is very different, isn't it? The plates, the shiny plates that they have, and the kind of toppings that they put, and all of that. And of course, the food is very, very important. But imagine very good food that is cooked, but served in a broken plate. No matter how good the food is, will you be able to eat it comfortably? No.
Oh, ma'am.
No, nobody will accept that. You want food, but you want it to be served in a clean plate. So when we're doing this, we have to understand where all these, whatever I'm saying, where all this can be applied in your research. So as I do this session, with me, think about your practical cases that you're going to be studying or your own research. Some of you are PhDs already. Some of you are working on papers, projects. Think about what I'm saying and how you can apply it in your areas. So taking you through this journey, I'd like to talk to you about some of the essential soft skills in the 21st century. I know if I ask you, at least 4 or 5 of the answers will be there already with you. Many of you would be knowing it. Any guesses? I'm only interested in knowing from you what you consider as a very, very important soft skill.
Ma'am, it's
Good
courtesy.
communication is skill, honesty in your work, interpersonal skill.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Critical thinking
give me 1 point,
skills.
please. One person, 1 point, please. Yeah. Someone else?
Ma'am, it's
Critical
courtesy.
thinking skills.
Critical thinking skills. Very good. Then?
Ma'am, it's courtesy.
Courtesy. Okay. Courtesy.
Communication and critical thinking.
Negotiation and networking.
Okay. Networking, negotiation.
Innovation
Emotional
skills.
intelligence.
Okay. Sorry.
Innovation skills.
Emotional intelligence. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm getting all the points here. Maybe I should close the session, right? I've got all the answers from all of you. No, but I didn't get the answer that I wanted. There was one thing that I was expecting you to say, and that was empathy. What is empathy? I know you'll have the definition. I know many of you know the definition.
Putting yourself in the place of the receiver and understanding the situation.
Putting your place in the place of the
Receiver and understanding the situation.
So how is it different from sympathy?
Sympathy is the feeling.
Sympathy is feeling. Very true. When you feel for somebody, it's one thing. You feeling sorry for that person. When you feel sorry for somebody, it's another thing. But when you actually put yourself in the person's shoes, or you are looking at that person as though you are yourself that person, you understand their situation better. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
it requires analysis and synthesis of the problem.
That's
Um,
I think analysis. Yeah.
Empathy is that we have to put ourselves on the place of that person,
That
and
is
we
what.
should feel that in such situation how he or she feel. So such type of understanding is necessary for the
Very true.
empathy.
So let me run you through a simple Webster definition and all that, and then tell you how it will help you here. So according to the dictionary meaning, it is something like the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and the experience of another person. Then the ability to share, Cambridge Dictionary, the ability to share someone else's feeling or experiences by imagining what it would be like to be in that person's situation. While sympathy is a feeling of sincere concern for someone who is experiencing something difficult or concern, it's a matter of concern. So you behave you're out of the person and you're behaving, you're looking at that person as somebody who needs support. But when you empathize, you actually feel the issue. Now, can I ask you to give me an example of using empathy in research, anybody? Let's take the case of an NGO. Let's say you're working for a project with an NGO. What you can think of any example and how empathy will make a big difference to you when you deal with your own research.
Ma'am, when it is like, suppose for an NGO or any research, if I actually understand what is the need of the society, and if I would be in the place, how will I face this an issue? The research would be more towards a practical approach. So that is what I feel is the importance of empathy, because in sympathy we can only do, okay, whatever has happened, we can feel for that particular person. But for empathy, we are like tending to come up with a solution.
Not only come up with a solution, you also
ma'am,
see the problem. You experience the problem. Let's say the problem of maternal mortality needs to be studied by some social scientist, and you are actually looking at a village. So this problem is something, suppose the researcher is a male, he may not be understanding this problem so well until and unless he actually learns the art of empathizing. So this is something that many of us tend to overlook. Very often in schools, in colleges, in institutions, when somebody is saying something, we overlook the real concern and the real feeling of that person. Going beyond the words of the person and probably trying to read between the lines is something that we need to develop. So as a researcher, ensure that you know the exact purpose of your research, understand the problem or concern deeply. Particularly when you're doing something in social science, there is something that you really need to make an impact that you have to have on society. So feel the need of your work and contribution and empathize with the larger cause of the effort you are putting in. You might be working on macroeconomics, you might be working on organizational behavior, you may be working on psychology, in the area of psychology, sociology, but do not forget that everything that you do will have a very large impact on society, because you never know what kind of turns it takes or how it gets extended into some policy level matter. So this is why empathy needs to be understood. The second is communication. Everybody, almost everyone who spoke mentioned communication as a skill. This is talked about a lot, but people may not understand the full meaning of communication here. So let's just again go through the definitions quickly. The act of sharing or exchanging information, ideas or feeling, or sharing is one-sided and exchanging is two-way. It can be verbal, non-verbal, both. It can be oral, it can be written, but language is an essential tool. So what are the significant things that you need to? Some of you might be teachers of English also, I'm sure. How many English teachers here? You may like to just put your send your message here in the group. Raiz Ahmed Bhatt, where are you from? Anantnag, yes, Kashmir, okay. Nice. So are there only two teachers, two English teachers? There must be more out of 130, I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Are there only
I was
two?
not able to.
No, are there only two teachers? Aparna is from Pune. Nice, Aparna. Nice to talk to you. Now, communication is often seen as language. Dr. Garima Chauhan. But you know something beyond the language also? Kausar from Abu Dhabi. Oh, I see. This is interesting. I have visited Abu Dhabi several times. Dr. Jyoti Shukla from Lucknow. Wonderful, wonderful. The aspects of English the language, not English, the aspects of language that people really need to understand is something I'd like to stress upon here. As a researcher, you know what is very important for you? What you really need to know about this very, very critical skill called communication. Language being crisp, clear, structured. The way you speak, for example, right now I'm communicating with you. There is a very good chance that I might run into some discussion which might digress from the actual purpose of this conversation or this session. I'm coming to listening to Kausar Fatima. Thank you very much for giving me the leads. What is important in research is being unbiased, being neutral, objective, and professional. Not bringing in any gender bias or caste discrimination or any racism or anything in your conversation, in your written communication. That's very, very important. It's not just about language, but language is important. What is important is clarity of thought, clarity of communication. There are many people who think writing long articles is a very good, attractive thing, but it's really not true. Language needs to be precise, language needs to be clear in communication. A genuine effort not to use jargon unnecessarily. Do not use jargon unnecessarily. Use them only where it is required. It is far more effective than writing very long paragraphs in a manner that is verbose. You know the meaning of the word verbose, using a lot of words where you can use one or two words. So what they call proofreading and editing. Now, it's an art. Now, that is not meant only for English people, or it's not meant for people who are in mass communication. It's a very, very important tool for a researcher. The clearer you write, the better you communicate, the more unbiased and neutral you are. And the way you communicate should also have, particularly when you prepare your reports, the combination of text, visuals, graphs, informatics, all of that should be in a manner that captures the audience, captures the reader. And it should also not hide any information. It should be transparent. It should be clear. It should also be language that you can customize to suit the target audience. The way you write an article and publish it in a national or international journal may not be the same if you're writing a textbook for school children or for your college students or for a simpler audience, maybe just the public. The language has to differ from place to place. So usage of language, say the corporate clients, and you're working for corporate clients, you really need to use a certain type of language. If you're addressing the youth, you have to be like them, and you have to use language like, I'm not trying to say that you have to use SMS lingo or WhatsApp lingo or any of that, but I'm trying to say that If you empathize, you will be able to use the right language. So that is important in communication. So now, taking you further, let's see how best you can do this. How best to improve your communication tool as a better result is develop good command over the language. Let's accept, nobody is perfect in this world. Let's accept that there is no age for learning. Be honest if you feel that you do not have the right command over your language. If you're groping for the words, मतलब आपको अगर ढूंढना पड़ रहा है शब्दों को, तो कहीं ना कहीं कोई दिक्कत है. There is a problem. You seem to be having a problem with the language. So let's accept that and expand your vocabulary. I'm not saying make your vocabulary only rich in terms of very big words. I mean, there are so many examples of people using very bombastic language. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying give different synonyms, use various, practice doing it, right? Several, how to expand that. So find out synonyms for words. So if you take up empathy, empathy also has this characteristic where until you reach the right feeling of the other person, you have to keep using different types of words. For example, let's say a young student or a young neighbor or somebody in the family comes back from the institution, comes back from work and is very upset on a particular day. So when you're talking to that person, you need to ask them, are you getting angry? How are you feeling? Are you getting angry? Are you feeling insulted? Are you feeling demoralized? When you use these words, you come to know exactly what feeling that person has. Now, practicing this will be able to help you capture the trends in the data effectively and reflect it in your work. So the data might be saying a particular pattern. It might be showing a particular pattern where you want to say it is drastically increasing, but it may not be drastically increasing. It may be there is a remarkable increase, which is different from drastic. Remarkable is very different from drastic. Just give me a moment, please. I'm sorry. So when you use different synonyms in your writing, and I'm 100% sure many of you will realize that as you keep writing, your language skills will improve. The more you write, the more you read, the more you observe, your vocabulary will increase. Don't feel shy to maintain a record of books. I mean, record of the words that you learn. Mark yourself some kind of a target. Learn 10 new words in a day. Nothing wrong. Don't feel shy about this. Develop good listening skills. One of the participants said that. Thank you very much. You did mention that. Was it Kaiser or someone who said develop good listening skills? Listen more, listen well. Most of us are so fond of our voice. We like our voice so much that we keep on talking. I mean, don't say that to me today. I am trying to ask you questions, but I'm here in the session and I have to deliver. So I'm talking to you. But while you're doing research, while you're researching, while you're with a lot of people, while you're working as a team, please try to listen fully and don't jump to conclusions. In fact, I've written in very, very light font something. Can anybody read it?
Yes, ma'am.
I've purposely written it in yellow font so that you can strain yourself. Listen without being biased or having preconceptions. Absolutely. Very, very well said, Kausar. Kausar Fatima ji, aap bahut acha bol rahi hain. That's a very, very important point. Impartial, very impartial. Listen objectively. Don't start having preconceptions. This person, and don't go back and forth. And we'll talk about it further. Being neutral, yes. Paraphrasing sentences and checking. What is the meaning of paraphrasing? So when you're writing something or when you're talking about something, when you're communicating something, check it with others, whether is it exactly how it is? Is the trend like this? Is this what we have been able to observe from this data? Have I got it right? There's nothing wrong in getting validation from 2-3 people. So paraphrase, don't just form a sentence and go further thinking I'm the be all and the end all. it can't get better than this. It may get better. And getting better might actually lead you somewhere else, take you to a different level. So be sure about all these things. Edit, refine your sentences with more options till you arrive at the best fit. I hope my suggestions are going to be useful to all of you in improving your communication. Do not underestimate the power of communication. Yes, to verify, Dr. Anita Vyas says, verify what you're saying, whether it's right or wrong. That's what I meant when I said paraphrasing. So even when you, let's say you're doing primary data collection, you really need to use this very strongly. And you can't put words in people's mouth. You have to listen patiently, understand the issues, and then go ahead and write these, particularly when you're analyzing, when you're actually doing the writing work. That time you'll have to make sure that you use the correct word, and your mind and your heart will tell you that you got the feeling right. As you're writing it, as you're typing it, I mean, nobody writes these days, you type, as you type it down, as you key it in, you will realize that this sentence, I'm not able to give the correct expression. I need to give it a little more power. So do that exercise, do not jump the guns and take that effort. AI does a good job of paraphrasing. Is it ethical? I'm not 100% sure it's ethical. You can use it, but you have to use it in a limited way, and you have to use it cautiously, because AI can lead you to other things. It does not think like you. Please do understand that. What is teamwork? The other very important skill. I know a lot of people talk about teamwork and collaboration. How important is teamwork? Think about it. You're not alone in this journey of research. How can you do research alone? Just tell me, is it possible to do research alone? Anyone?
No,
We have to
ma'am.
use AI with care. What are the things for which you depend on people? Okay, the dictionary meaning goes, the meaning of teamwork is work done by a group acting together so that each member does a part that contributes to the efficiency of the whole. So when let's say you're writing obviously exchange of ideas can't be done. Yes, you're right. So he's saying it's not ethical. Bringing diverse perspectives, wonderful. So very true. Teamwork helps you in bringing diverse perspectives. The ability of people to work together. In today's world, it is such an important work. Most of the companies, most of the organizations are actually rewarding people more for ability to be team members or good team leaders than for their technical knowledge. It is these non-technical things that make people successful more than the technical. I'm not undermining the importance of technical knowledge, but even after technical knowledge, like the broken plate, do not forget the broken plate. Keep remembering the broken plate, because at the end of the day, if you are not somebody who can motivate your team to do well, then all your knowledge may be of very limited use compared to what it can do when you are coming together. So it's about we and not about me. Dr. Jyoti Shukla says all skills are not possible for an individual to handle single-handedly. Very, very true. So in case of research, what are the reasons that you need teamwork? You're not alone in this. You have to work in a collaborative way. So they say none of us is as good as all of us. Yes, Dr. Anita, motivation is very important. Putting the team before you, putting the team goal before us. My singular goal should not be my motivation. My singular goal of collecting the data, let's say I am collecting the data, or let's say I'm doing the statistical analysis. My part cannot be seen in solidarity. It has to be seen as part of a whole. Yes, critical inputs are very, very good. Collaboration is the heart of research. Very good, very well said. So I would like to recommend 3 A's of developing team skills. Accept that you're not alone in this journey. First, accept it. Very often, if you are good at something, you forget about the relevance of the others. Very often, people are quite full of themselves. You might have published a book, and particularly when you have research in a particular area, and you're getting deeper into that area, you start thinking that others don't know enough. Research often has the capacity to take people away from people, particularly teachers away from students, because I know a lot more than them. No, that doesn't work like that. So you have to accept that you're not in this alone. Whatever you're doing is for a larger cause. And apply this wholeheartedly and acknowledge team members. This is the 3 A's that I'd like to recommend to you. Acceptance, application of the idea of not being alone, and acknowledging it. Do not feel shy to ask for help. You might have to ask people for help. There's nothing wrong. So accepting that I don't know is probably the key to success in this case. Or assuming that I know a lot can completely torpedo the idea of being successful in the work that you're doing. So this is one thing that is key to not only in research, but let me put it like this, that for the whole of life, teamwork matters. Wherever you are, whichever organization, it can be even for social cause, for your social circles, for your professional and personal life, for family. We all need to, we're all social animals after all. So we need to work together, but it's more so for research because your thinking alone doesn't work. There's another important thing that if you have a particular idea and your team members are talking about something else and you stick to your idea, it can be a little dangerous for the outcome. So how to blend it with others is also something important. Now, learnability. This is talked about very often, learnability. The ability to actually acquire new knowledge, which is what all of you are doing. Actually, I should skip this point for all of you because you have actually registered for this wonderful 10-day workshop and you're clearly people who consider yourself as learnable. You have this quality of being learnable. You're not probably doing it only for an academic requirement. I'm hoping that all of you are here for actually gaining knowledge. Ability to be learned is learnability. So it can be something like this. I'm giving you a few examples. Languages have evolved to be learnable by humans. Econometric methods for social sciences are learnable. Use of AI for research design is learnable. So how do you develop learnability? What are the ways you can learn? Upskill yourself, upgrade yourself. What I'm telling you right now will be a little hard hitting, but take it with a very positive attitude. Put your ego aside and move out of your comfort zone. If you do that, you'll realize that you'll be able to scale much greater heights. Your growth trajectory in your work will improve. So don't sit inside that cocoon and think that I know the best. Put your ego aside and ask the expert. Struggle and learn if you want to, or just ask the expert. I assume all the your resource persons in this workshop are experts in a way. So do not hesitate to reach out to them. They may be much younger to you in age. They may be somebody from a different domain altogether. But that they have come here to tell you something is something you should accept. Let me give you an example. The English teachers who are here, please hear me out patiently. Because I'm talking about things that you know already. Because in English, very often these soft skills, most of the times, English teachers are asked to do the soft skills learning training in schools and in colleges. But it is possible that you may not be applying it in your research. Think about it. Introspect and see if possibly what I'm saying is something that you yourself might not be doing. I don't know how you're doing it, but I'm just giving an example. So all of us need to come out of our comfort zone and learn more. Doing the right thing is always superior than doing what you know. So this learnability is a wonderful quality. It's not only just learnability, it is lifelong learnability. It's continuous learning, ongoing. Today in the world of AI and machine learning, the need to be dynamic, the need to be upgraded has scaled up probably the most in the last 2 centuries. It can't be faster than this possibly, or it can, we don't know. We really don't know. But the way youngsters or the way the youth finds themselves becoming inadequate after doing a master's in computer science and going into a tech company and suddenly realizing that he or she needs to upgrade themselves, it's amazing. So all of that knowledge is something that you are also going to be needing. in your own research journey. In fact, to be very honest, yes, benefit from each other's skills. That's very true. That is the purpose of teamwork. We all don't carry the same skills. We all have to complement each other in our work. So learnability, learning from each other, that's again a very, very wonderful quality. Peer learning, what is called peer learning, is really, really important. I just wanted to tell you one thing in this, that
sorry for interruption, ma'am. Actually, we have to wind up the session by 7:30. So a gentle reminder for you.
We've already reached 7:30. So, okay, this is probably...
You can take next
4
or 5 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, another 5 minutes.
Thank you.
So I just want to tell you that learn to ride the wave of change. Otherwise, you might be below the wave. So one last thing, critical thinking skills and a lot more. What is critical thinking? That we will be talking about it here. You can clearly see thinking out of the box, daring to ask questions, daring to doubt your data, daring to doubt your method. Keep asking and keep asking questions, looking at things very critically. The more critical you are in thinking, the better might be the results. But of course, don't develop critical thinking as an art of putting down anybody. That's not a very nice thing to do. So yes, very true, Kausar, not criticizing. Critical thinking is not meant for criticizing. So some of the other data science, some of the other skills that data scientists need are creative thinking, analytical thinking. Keep doing it, keep thinking, keep analyzing until you get. And in order to get the best, you need a positive attitude. Very often, if you might not find any way from your work and you might just think, okay, let's drop it. I'm not able to make any headway, but don't lose your spirit. That's also a soft skill. The ability to look at the positive side, the half of the empty glass or the filled glass. Looking at things from the different angle is extremely important. The colored glass, take off your glasses, wear another set of glasses and look at it positively. Fill in yourself with positive attitude, because if we don't, we academicians don't, who will be able to give the world positivity? So that positivity will lead to innovation, out of the box thinking, and you will become a problem solver. And as you were talking about ethics, AI and ethics, I tell you one thing, that ethics is at the core to any good work. The moment a person, I would have loved to tell you a story about a nurse who was known for her ethics, and she was hired by a doctor, paying her 2 times the salary just to test her ethics. He took her to the first operation, and when the operation was coming to a close and he was about to suture the patient, she said, don't. She stopped him and he got very angry. He says, how can you do that? I am the surgeon. You're just a nurse here. So she said, wait, I counted 24 swabs of cotton and now there is only 23. That means one must be inside the patient's stomach. But the doctor had actually put it under his leg and pressed it, and he had actually covered it, and the lady refused to let him. So ethics is about not doing the right things when people are watching, but doing the right things when nobody's watching you. And research happens in silence also. So your adaptability, your ability to be a good organizer, how you think, and ultimately your presentation skills. Very, very important how you present your things. And your leadership skills is something that can take your team of people, maybe a team of youth and all of that well towards the end. Ultimately, the secret lies in balancing hard skills and soft skills. This is possibly how the brain of the researcher should be. The right brain and the left brain, the soft skills and the hard skills, keep balancing them for a better life, for better results. Some few tips that I'd like to tell you is soft skills they are being trained. Yes, I don't know if I can share it. It'll be shared later. Yeah, I'll definitely share it. I have nothing to hide. So soft skills also has a lot of training programs where a lot of time is spent on actually inculcating those soft skills. It doesn't just happen by listening to a 1-hour session. You have to go through that. You have to practice it several times. You have to be mindful of balancing these skills. There are lots of YouTube. You have them in open course. And one last thing I'd like to share, give me just 2 minutes more. Take a balanced view of life. This is a particular theory that I myself have been practicing. Take a 360-degree view of life, and this is, you'll not probably find it anywhere. So I would like to recommend to all of you, in life, you have 4 quadrants that you have to understand. Your social quadrant, your professional quadrant, your health quadrant, which talks of not just physical health, but physical, mental, and emotional wellness. And finally, the spiritual quotient, which talks about not religion, but the purpose of your life, the mission in your life. If you are able to balance all these things well, if you understand that The strength from one can be passed on to the other. The same way, if you're able to balance your work, your research work, in a way that you contribute to society, you can be great game changers. Trust me, there are so many problems in the world that need solutions. And you and I, as academicians, as researchers, will be the ones giving direction to the world, for which you really have to have those soft skills along with your lots of your hard skills. Hats off to all those the resource persons who are going to be doing hard skills for you. But I do hope you realize the importance and relevance of soft skills. So be the change agent in the world. The world is waiting for all of you. There are no limitations at all. It's only the ones that we make in our mind. If you decide that you want to be a big change agent in this world, a game changer for the students you impact, the society you impact, the larger cause of the government, the universe will help you. And thank the universe. Don't forget to thank the universe for the support. Thank you, everybody, for the session. I have my best wishes to all of you. I sincerely hope that whatever I've said will be useful to you. And if there's anything I can do for you at my personal level, I'll be more than happy. If there are any questions, I'm ready to take them. Though I've overshot the time, I'm sorry for that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very quickly, if someone have any relevant question, please feel to ask before we proceed for our next session. Please raise your hands or you can write in the chat box.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much, Dr. Anita Vyas, and all the others who have been telling me good things. Bhatt Saab, Rais Ahmed Bhatt Saab, very nice. It is such a wonderful thing that so many people are coming together for this good cause. And I look forward.
All right. Before moving our next, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am, for your inspiring talk on essential of soft skills in data-driven world. Blending of hard and soft skills, particularly your suggestions for the effective communications, also your the insights into critical role of soft skill roles in today fast-paced data-centric environment. We truly enlightening. We hope we all will now take your valuable lessons to our academic life and will enhance these essential skills in our own journeys. Let's continue learning this, growing together. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so
very
much.
much. And I wish all of you all the very best for the rest of the 10 days and the organizers for a very successful delivery during these 10 days. Thanks for having me over. It was my pleasure and privilege. My special word of appreciation to Dr. Bhagirat, who was one time my student as well. And I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So our next session will be moderated by Professor Ejaz. I request the professor to take over. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.